the most painful thing I think you can do to another human being is to isolate them and cut them off. That's why solitary confinement, is such an issue in the prisons and stuff, and why it's such an effective tool also in those environments, because that people will do almost anything to just not be alone. And when you're raised as Jehovah's Witness your whole life, when all of your family around you, all your friends are in that environment, when they cut you off and disfellowship you, you are put into solitary confinement.
While some witnesses may find solace in the organization's rigid ideology, others find it difficult to adhere to its rules, leading them to anxiety and depression.
My own doctor said, he didn't have a single Jehovah's Witness patient that he saw that wasn't on antidepressants, right? And that's a pretty common thing.
Those feelings of anxiety and depression are compounded by the fear that breaking the rules or leaving the organization will result in them being disfellowshipped and shunned by friends and family.
I never thought this could happen. I never, not in a million years, thought this could happen. Death took two of my brothers, and it never broke us up the way this has.
If a teenager or minor is disfellowshipped, life at home can become difficult as the relationship between parent and child becomes strained. In many cases, the organization encourages parents to kick out their disfellowshipped children once they are 18 years old. I came to talk to Jody, who has a similar story.
I didn't today. No breakfast today, no.
He was disfellowshipped the day he finished high school after the organization discovered he had got a young woman pregnant.
And they announced it right away, that I was disfellowshipped from the congregation, and people should avoid, in front of the whole congregation, that people should avoid contact with me, and they gave the reason why, and everybody, like I said, turned around and looked, and
how did you feel in that moment?
Pretty small at that moment. I knew these people my whole life, and within that second, they were never going to speak to me again, and they never did. None of them. The boys in the congregation that were close to my age that I had grown up with, that was the last time that I talked to them. That was it. Next day at school, or it was nothing. It was like I didn't even exist anymore. And things changed at home too, obviously. My parents, minimal communication. No more good morning, no more nothing. It was just minimal. My dad said he would allow me to stay as long as I attended the meetings. So I was allowed to stay there until I finished high school. And literally the day I finished high school, that was...
Can you talk about that?
That was it. Yeah, it was a pretty shitty day for me. Pretty shitty day, man. I can remember my stuff being outside, and my mom, I still can see her standing in the front window and just pointing at the road. A couple bags sitting outside, and that was it. I had no money. I had nothing, nothing. I had my my little Honda Civic car. I had maybe a quarter tank of gas in it, and that was it. I got into my car, and when we were kids, we used to hang out under a bridge, and I went there. And under the bridge, we had not a cabin, but a little setup there, right? So I spent the night there, actually. I had slept there for a couple days, and those couple days I was very close to ending it. It definitely crossed my mind on several occasions, and rather quickly. I didn't know what to do. You're just a young kid. You no longer have a support network of any kind. I didn't really know. I knew some kids from school. I was friends with some kids, but not very many. Because nobody really wanted to associate with you. You were a Jehovah's Witness. You were You were not like the other kids, right? So
Do you think it was difficult for your parents to do that?
no, I don't. They were that immersed in the Jehovah's Witnesses at that time that I broke the rules. That's what happens. You know, that's what needs to be done. He needs to be. We're done with him. So unless you want to come back to Jehovah, we're done.
You're essentially handing out that person to be shunned from their friends and their family.
And your mother has stopped talking to you because you were disfellowshipped, right?
Yeah.
Is that tough?
It's very odd knowing that your mother supposedly cares for you. At least I'd like to think that she does, or that she did at one point. But she doesn't talk to you anymore, or come to visit you, or, you know, even send you cards in the mail.
And you are their only child, right?
Yeah, correct.
Wow.
Yeah, and my mom is also an only child. So my maternal grandmother, I'm her only grandkid.
It's just, wow. It's more impactful, I think, like you're the only child and they're still able to stop. Your mom's completely able to cut you off like that.
And so then I finally allowed myself to take in information from other sources. And it did turn out, I mean, to really deal with the depression, anxiety, drinking, and all that stuff, I had to get out.
You're in a good place now, but probably those first, I don't know, year, couple of months, would you say you felt alone, like very lonely?
Yeah, I felt like completely alone. I had this experience which made it very surreal for me. So I joined a jiu-jitsu club, and I've been doing that now for a couple of years. And, you know, you get in and you need to sign like a form, right? And you need to put an emergency contact, right? And it was at that point, I have nobody, right? There's nobody that I could put on that column to call, right? And so I think it's still the case. I should update it. My emergency contact was 911, right?
The organization had so many strict rules, and you found them so difficult to follow, just not being able to read other material or the way you dress, all that stuff. But there are 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses in the world, right? Supposedly. So most of them, I guess, are fine with those strict rules.
When you really understand to the level that Jehovah's Witnesses are micromanaged in every aspect of their life and how controlled they are, even though they'll say that they're not and they have all their personal freedoms, you don't. Like, you are so controlled and so micromanaged.